So here's another story from Mama Monster and when she was a young little monster. I think I was about 8 or 9, and I went to summer camp, and there was something that was, as an adult, rather alarming. So at this summer camp, there was cabins, and they were organized by male boys and girls were separate, and then they were separated by age. So there was a little cabin where it was all the girls who were, I think, under 10, and they were up on a hill further away from everybody else. But overall, I did like summer camp, and it's not a scary story. So, but in our little world, everybody's monsters. They're just people. So, when Mama Monster was at summer camp, when she was just a little girl, the camp counselors were all, 18-year-olds, which seems very big to a small child. And every night, the camp counselors would put the campers to bed in the cabin. And after everyone was settled, they would go down to the mess hall where there was, normally there was the food or activities, and they would do who knows what. And until later, they would come back and everyone would go to sleep. So there was always a period of time where the girls could quietly play, and a counselor would periodically check to make sure they were going to sleep, but that's about it. So there was really just not a lot of supervision. So that night, like most others, the camp counselors said good night to all the campers in their beds. Good night, campers. When suddenly one of the counselors grabbed her backpack off the wall, threw it on that porch, and started beating it with a broom. Without a comment or a word, she picked it back up. She put it back on the wall, and she said goodnight, and she left with the other counselor, who also made no comment. The girls thought that was kind of weird, but you forget these things, and it was odd, but not important. So the girls chittered and chattered, and it got darker, and night happened, and suddenly there was a scratching sound. Well, that was weird. And it got louder and louder as the girls searched with their flashlights. Where was it? Where was this noise coming from? Was it the door? No. Even though there was a gap under the door, nothing there. Nothing in the beds. Nothing in the... And just then, when the light flashed in the backpack, out burst an animal that ran around and ran. All the girls were screaming because there was what they realized later was a flying squirrel running around, going shoo, 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 shoo. And the girls all thought it was going to jump on them, particularly the girls on the top bunks, because they were close to the ceiling where the flying squirrel was run. So finally, the flying squirrel managed to make it out. And the part that, as an adult, kind of alarms me a little is the girls screamed for quite a bit, but no one came. Eventually, since nothing else happened other than that flying squirrel having escaped the cabin, the girls asked the counselors about it in the morning. And apparently, that backpack that belonged to the one counselor had some trail mix in it. And as the side of the cabin had a family of flying squirrels living in it, the flying squirrels decided to have some of that. I'm not entirely sure what she was planning to do with beating the backpack. I don't really agree with that, but obviously the squirrel was mostly unharmed, just a little stunned, and it made its way back to its home. And that was the story of a poor flying squirrel who scared the living daylights out of a bunch of small girls. I hope you enjoyed the story. My little monsters told me that they would certainly not be scared of any flying squirrel. They would have just cordially invited it into their bed to say, or said, hello. And part of why it woke up at night is that flying squirrels are nocturnal, which means they're active at night. So you may not even know they're in your area. They're in a lot of North America, actually. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story and it wasn't too much. Have a great day or night.